Shalom, Yasharala, giving all praise and glory to the Most High Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. These words will be praised for everything. As always, I'm starting with Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all. By Hashem, Mashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father. By Hashem, Mashiach Yahushua. So all that we do and say is going to be in the name of the Lord and Savior of Mashiach Yahushua, who's coming back to judge and make war and bring forth the power and the wisdom and the understanding and a righteous kingdom on this earth again. So Spirit moved me to look at our condition and as the Israelites, and we're going to look back at what our ancestors left here for us that worked for them. It's going to work for us. And these are the things that we as a people have to understand to be able to bring forth this solution, to bring forth our salvation. As we repent, we come back to the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, have faith in the Most High, and we have fear of the Most High, be afraid and be scared of him, and respect him to the utmost, do what he say do, his rules and regulations, and cry unto the Most High. So he wants a humble and a broken and contrite spirit before him. Because you're going to cry now, but you're going to cry later, but everybody going to cry. Believe it. Well, let me not talk about it. Let me bring it about. When the Mashiach come back through the power of the Most High, let's see what it says. Revelation 1:7. Because you know he ascended in the cloud, right? In Acts 1:9, let's see what it says when he come back. Revelation 1:7. Behold, he coming with clouds. That's the chariots of the Most High. What they call the flying saucers. The UFOs, we call them IFOs because they are identified flying objects. The angels of the Most High. He coming back with the angels of the Most High, 200 million to be exact. Behold, he coming with clouds, and every eye shall see him. So don't worry about nobody saying he's over here, he's over there. He told you that. He said everybody gonna see him. Ain't nobody gonna miss him. He said, and they also which pierced him. Those that pierced him, put them nails in his hands and his feet. They hung him on a tree. And those that's piercing him now, they don't believe in him. And got Caesar Borgia set up. Or the so-called white man set up as him. When he tells you in verse 14, his hairs were white like wool. Nappy woolly hair, as white as snow, pure white. It says, verse 15, and his feet like a defined brass. Brass driven brown as if they burned in the furnace. And his voice as the sound of many waters. So he had a skin complexion that was like what we call blue-black, that dark. And you gonna say him as a so-called white man? Oh, that's why he said. Revelation 1:7. He say, and they also which pierced him, right? So them Romans that put them stakes in his hands and his feet, he gonna see them, to deal with them, and he's gonna deal with all of you out there that don't believe in him. He said in 1 Corinthians 16:22, he said, if you don't love Mashiach Yahushua, let him be anathema, but maranatha, let you be accursed. That's what it says. So you make the decision. He said, listen, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail. You hear that? They're going to be crying. Why? Because of him. So like I say, you're going to cry now, you're going to cry later, but you're going to cry. Say, everybody going to cry because of him. So I want to go to Second Ezra, because that's what I'm dealing with. The solution and how the Most High had pity on us when we cried to him. But you can't do it if you're prideful. And let's look at it. You prideful, you're not going to be, I'm not talking to people that's prideful. I'm talking to those that have humility and a broken and contrite spirit. Because without that, you're not going to be able to make it. Period. Because you think you all that. You feel that, hey, I can do what I want to do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it, and they got that you can't touch me spirit. But the Most High see everything. He watching everything, and everything's being recorded. And you got those little imps that's reporting to him all the time. You see what she did? You see what he did? Look, Ecclesiasticus 10 and 11, understand this. It says, let's read verse 7. Ecclesiastes 10:7 first. Pride is hateful before the Most High and man. So we dealing with something contrary, all the way opposite of pride, which is humility. I did a lesson on humility. Look at that. And then you understand, you'll get to the point where you can go to this lesson, incline to the Most High. Look, pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both does one commit iniquity. Look at verse 11. Verse 12. The beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High. So you ain't gonna be with the Most High. If you prideful, this ain't for you. Because you ain't gonna be able to understand this. Because you can't do it because you prideful. You up on high horses, your own high horses. But the Most High gonna bring you down. Remember, we just read where everybody gonna cry. So you're gonna cry now, you gonna cry later, but you gonna cry. Believe that. Or you're gonna be crying when your brother's thrown in the lake of fire. Or you're gonna be crying when salvation is coming to us as the Israelites and a remnant of all nations. You know? Listen. The beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High, and his heart, which is your mind, the way you think, is turned away from his maker. You turn away from the Most High, right? So we're not talking about those people. We're talking about those that have a humble and a broken and contrite spirit to be able to fulfill what we need to do as a people to see our salvation come on this earth. And the Most High sent Mashiach back here to judge and make war. Now let's go to 2nd Ezra, the first chapter. Just read a little bit about ourselves. Let's start at verse 4. Now, we're in the Persian and Mede Empire, in captivity under the Persian and Medes. Verse 4. And the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Go thy way, and show my people, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, their sinful deeds. You hear that? He said, go and show us our sinful deeds. And their children, their wickedness, which they have done against me, that they may tell their children's children. You hear that? He told Ezra, go thy way and show my people, the Israelites, their sinful deeds, and their children, their wickedness, which they have done against me, that they may tell their children's children. You see? What we did that was so wicked against the Most High. But this world is all about praise the Most High, and not really identifying how wicked we were against him. Better hear what he's saying. Because the sins of their fathers are increased in them, for they have forgotten me, and have offered unto strange gods unto this day. So we forgot the Most High and offered unto strange gods that newly came up. But he would tell us, well, go pray to them. Let them redeem you. When he said, all you need is me. Am not I even he that brought them out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, captivity, slavery, and bondage? He said, I'm the one that did this. But they have provoked me unto wrath and despised my counsels. See, men is his hand, but how many people are really listening to or really desire to know more about him? Or you better know him. Or you got it on your own. You better know him. As these disasters and everything hypes up, and these prophecies start to come by, you better know him. This is what it says. But we chose strange gods, strange entities that came about to say, hey, follow me. And that's anybody that follow anyone that's into sin. That's that strange spirit that got into them, Satan that got into them, and have you follow them into sin. Am not I even he that brought them out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage? But they have provoked me unto wrath and despised my counsels. Pull out off then the hair of thy head and cast all evil upon them. Ooh, for they have not been obedient unto my law, but it is a rebellious people. You know? He said, we have not been obedient unto his law. Telling Ezra to pull out his hair. That hurt. That hurt. He telling him what to do. Pull thou off then the hair of thy head and cast all evil upon them. You hear that? Cast all evil upon them. The Most High is all righteous. But he said cast all evil upon them because we was doing evil against him. That's why he said cast all evil upon them. For they have not been obedient unto my law, but it is a rebellious people. You know? So you could think you could do whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. And when he started bringing this wrath, he said, what did he say? His wrath? He said, provoked him to wrath. When he bring that wrath on us, ain't nothing we can say about it. Except for you want to cry to the Most High then, but he got something for you too. Then, because now is the last time that we got to cry. This is the very last time. Listen. How long shall I forbear them, unto whom I have done so much good? That's why I said when people really look at and really think about, you really love him, and you see that the majority of our life, he's done good with us, regardless of how you look at it. We might have done things to mess our own self up, but he was there to make sure that he done good for us. Now, then, we were all the way back through the time of Moses and so forth. He said he did us good. So much good to us. So much good, he said. Many kings have I destroyed for their sakes. You hear that? Say, many kings have I destroyed for their sakes. Pharaoh with his servants and all his power have I smitten down. Brought him down. Remember Pharaoh was chasing us with all his chariots? Most High opened up the Red Sea, let us go across dry ground. And when Pharaoh came with all his chariots, he closed it up and drowned them all. And we seen the dead bodies on the shore. And still, after we done seen the plagues that he brought upon the Egyptians, 10 plagues he brought upon the Egyptians. And here we are, still murmuring and complaining unto this day. He said, many kings have I destroyed for their sakes. Pharaoh, with his servants and all his power have I smitten down. All the nations have I destroyed before them. And in the east I have scattered the people of 2 provinces, even of Tyrus and Sidon, and have slain all their enemies. Hear that? Killed all our enemies. Speak thou therefore unto them, saying, thus said the Most High, and you hear, as I'm hearing and I've heard, and bringing it to you now, from the Most High. I led you through the sea, and in the beginning gave you a large and safe passage. I gave you Moses for a leader and Aaron for a priest. I gave you light and a pillar of fire, and great wonders have I done among you. Thus said the Most High, yet have ye forgotten me, saith the Most High. See, I did all this for you. I did so much good. He said, yet have you forgotten me? Y'all better hear what he's saying. Thus said of Almighty power, the quails were as a token for you. Fed us with quails. Was a token for you. I gave you tents for your safeguard. Nevertheless, ye murmured there. We murmured against him. So he gave us quails to eat. Tents for our safeguard, to be safely for habitation. Nevertheless, ye murmured there. And triumph not in my name for the destruction of your enemies. But ever to this day do ye yet murmur. Like some of you probably out there murmuring now. And triumph not in my name for the destruction of your enemies. But ever to this day do ye yet murmur. What are the benefits that I have done for you? You know what he said? What are the benefits that I have done for you? Who talking about it? Nobody. Praise the Most High when he done something, you can see something that you know is him, but he's doing everything. No praising the Most High hardly. This is the last days. You got an opportunity to do it now, or you're going to be thrown in the lake of fire. Choice to choose life or death. Listen to what he said. What are the benefits that I have done for you? When you were hungry and thirsty in the wilderness, did you not cry unto me? Hear that? We're going to be thirsty and hungry in the famine that's coming in this day and time. That it is written. Because of lack of bread and great tribulation. Hell all in the street. And all you that's prideful, you ain't used to crying to the Most High. You satisfied whatever you dealing with now. You in your comfort zone. Oh, we gonna see. See, where are the benefits that I have done for you? How much do you really appreciate the Most High just for waking you up today? Giving you an opportunity to get it together. To get ready for a kingdom that's prepared for us. When you were hungry and thirsty in the wilderness, did you not cry unto me? Saying, why hast thou brought us into this wilderness to kill us? Crying to the Most High, why you brought us into the wilderness to kill us? It had been better for us to have served the Egyptians than to die in this wilderness. Ain't that something? We'd rather be enslaved under the Egyptians than to serve the Most High. We free. We done seen the Most High kill the leader and all this mighty men. We seen that. We witnessed that. And here we murmuring and complaining. What did it say? Where are all the benefits that I have done for you? 10 plagues did nothing touch us. We in the city of Goshen in Egypt. Nothing touched us, but Moses put 10 plagues on the Egyptians. Nothing touched us, but we still murmuring. He done killed the leader, Pharaoh, and all his mighty soldiers. He done killed them, and we seen them on the shoreline, dead. But what we say? What are the benefits that I have done for you, the Most High said? When ye were hungry and thirsty in the wilderness, did ye not cry unto me? We was hungry and thirsty. We cried unto the Most High, saying, why hast thou brought us into this wilderness to kill us? It had been better for us to have served the Egyptians than to die in this wilderness. We'd rather be slaves than to be free. And thinking they're going to die in the wilderness. What ain't faith? Ain't no faith. Then had I pity upon your murmurings, crying to the Most High. He had pity upon his murmuring. Ain't no time that the Most High had, you ain't going to find in this Bible where the Most High had pity on us, period. Till we cried to him, prayed to him, cried out to him. And he had pity on us, of our mournings, and gave you manna to eat. Hear that? Gave you manna to eat, whatever we wanted to taste like it, taste like it. So you did eat angels' bread. Hear that? You did eat angels' bread. When you were thirsty, did I not cleave the rock and waters flowed out to your field? It's the Most High talk to us. Can you hear him? For the heat, I covered you with the leaves of the trees. I divided among you a fruitful land. I cast out the Canaanites, the Perizzites, and the Philistines before you. What shall I yet do more for you, saith the Most High? This our power. Hear what he's saying. Because this is a book going to be written about us too. Believe that. It's already being scribed. So where you going to be at in this book? In our plight. Thus say the Almighty, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, when you were in the wilderness, in the river of the Amorites, being athirst, and blaspheme my name. You hear what he said? We was thirsty and blaspheming the Most High's name. But we all that. We think we all that, right? Do you hear what we did? Let me let you hear it again. He said, thus say the Almighty power. The Almighty power. He said, when ye were in the wilderness, in the river of the Amorites, being athirst, we was thirsty, and blaspheming my name. We were blaspheming the Most High's name. I gave you not fire for your blasphemies. I didn't burn you up for your blasphemies against the Most High, but cast a tree in the water and made the river sweet. See, I put a tree in the water and made the river sweet. So it tastes sweet to us. What shall I do unto thee, O Jacob? Thou Judah, would it not obey me? I will turn me to other nations, and unto those will I give my name, that they may keep my statutes. Seeing ye have forsaken me, Judah, head tribe of the 12 tribes of Israel, seeing ye have forsaken me, I will forsake you also. You hear that? So you can think you can do whatever you want to do all you want to. He said, you forsaken me, I'm going to forsake you too. Since you think you know what you're doing, the way you want to do it, how you want to do it, you say, you forsaken me, I'm going to forsake you too. That's something when you, the Most High say you're going to forsake you. Since you don't want to obey him, say, I will turn me to other nations, and unto those will I give my name, that they may keep my statutes. Seeing ye have forsaken me, Judah, I will forsake you also. When you desire me to be gracious unto you, I shall have no mercy upon you. Whensoever ye shall call upon me, I will not hear you. That's serious. You say, when you call on him, you say, I will not hear you. For ye have defiled your hands with blood, and your feet are swift to commit manslaughter. Ye have not, as it were, forsaken me, but your own selves, said the Most High. Let me give you a little bit more of something. Go to Proverbs, first chapter. For all you think you can do whatever you want to do and just don't give him the power, don't give him the praise. Proverbs 1:24. He said right now, he said, because I have called and you refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. What's the Most High's hand? Psalm 17 and 14. As you take a note, you should put down what's the Most High's hand. Psalm 17 and 14. From men which are thy hand, O Most High. From men of the world of Israel. That's the Most High. So he stretched forth his hand. Men bringing forth his counsel. When we say bringing forth the counsel, Ezra was a counselor. They didn't want to hear him. They didn't want to hear the prophets. They don't want to hear the men that the Most High has called in these last days to bring forth his word. Look. Proverbs 8 and 4. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. So he's calling men. You have men that's bringing forth his word in these last days. Precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, to bring the understanding of this Bible, his true word, as you're going to hear. And the solutions, at least for me, I'm looking for solutions. Ask the Most High, I pray the Most High give me solutions. that our nation can hear and know that this is what works with our ancestors and this work with the Most High. And right now, he's saying what? Proverbs 1:24. Because I have called and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, which is men is his hand, and no man regardeth. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, which through the men is bringing forth this truth. Set aside all this counsel, and with none of my reproof. He said, I also will laugh at your calamity. You hear that? Remember he said when they pray, they ain't gonna hear them? He said, in verse 27 of 2nd Ezra's first chapter, ye have not as it were forsaken me, but your own selves, said the Most High. See? You said, I also will laugh at your calamity, forsaking yourself, Yasharallah. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, like a tornado, a hurricane, destroying you from the Most High. When distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. There it is again. We got to understand this. We going through all kind of hell. And we going through a tribulation period right now, Jacob's trouble, like you ain't seen before. But when it happened, he tell you, then shall they call upon me, then you want to call on him. He said, but I will not answer. He our only hope. But he's saying, I will not answer. I ain't going to pay no attention to you at all. You're going to be like you don't even exist. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. Then shall they seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Most High. Did not choose to be afraid and be scared of him, to do what he say do and obey his voice. Obey his words, his counsel. There were none of my counsel. They despise all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. He's telling you, you better hear what he's saying. Look at, let's go to, Exodus. We're looking at solutions of what worked with our ancestors and how we got the Most High's attention, especially to have pity on us. And that's what we need right now as a nation. If you don't, then it's just you dealing in the truth. You might as well go and do your own thing and leave him alone before he visits you. Look, go to Exodus the 8th chapter. Verse 5, it says, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying unto Aaron, stretch forth thine hand with thy rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds, and cause frogs to come up upon the land of Egypt. You hear that? And Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. Right? Frogs everywhere. Can you imagine? Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat the Most High, that he may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may sow sacrifices to the Most High. But the Most High had hardened Pharaoh's heart, his mind, so that he wouldn't let us go as the children of Israel. You see? He did this so he can get them a name. 10 plagues he put upon them Egyptians. And Moses said unto Pharaoh, glory over me. When shall I entreat for thee, and for thy servants, and for thy people, to destroy the frogs from thee and thy houses, that they may remain in the river only? And he said, tomorrow. And he said, be it according to thy word, that thou mayest know that there is none like unto the Most High power, our power. You hear that? None like the Most High power, our power. Our is a personal possessive pronoun showing ownership. And the frogs shall depart from thee, and from thy houses, and from thy servants, and from thy people. They shall remain in the river only. Can you imagine that? Frogs all over your house? Everywhere? You open up a drawer, frogs coming out of it. You go to cook some, frogs jumping all over the stove. You open up the refrigerator, you open up whatever it is that you keep your food, frogs coming out of it. It was everywhere. And so, the Most High allowed them to go into the river only. And Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh. Look what they did. And Moses cried unto the Most High. You hear that? He cried unto the Most High because of the frogs which he had brought against Pharaoh. Now, ain't no pride going to the Most High. He the one that brought them. He the one that brought the frogs. So you see what Moses, he cried unto the Most High. And the Most High did according to the word of Moses. Hear that? You talking about solutions? You better hear what it's saying. And the Most High did according to the word of Moses, that as he was crying to the Most High. With no pride, all a broken and contrite spirit. And the frogs died out of the houses, out of the villages, and out of the fields. And they gathered them together unto heaps, and the land stank. Ooh. Said the land was stinking. With frogs, dead frogs all around. And when Pharaoh saw that there was respite, he hardened his heart, and hearkened not unto them as the Most High had said. See, the Most High hardened Pharaoh's heart. Like it's going to happen in these days that the Most High going to give him a name. Only this time it's going to last forever and ever and ever. That's why it's going to be Jacob's trouble. Y'all better get ready. And showing you a solution. Okay, now, we read about in 2nd Ezra when he was going over the fact of how Pharaoh and his chariots, his soldiers were chasing us. They were chasing us. As we left the Egyptian captivity after the Most High did the last plague and killed the firstborn males of the Egyptians. So, look at Exodus 14 and 8. Now, Pharaoh had taken 600 chosen men in their chariots chasing after us. Verse 8. And the Most High hardened the heart or the mind of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And he pursued after the children of Israel, and the children of Israel went out with an high hand. See, but the Egyptians pursued after them. The Egyptians were chasing after us, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them, encamping by the sea, being beside Baharath, before Baal-Zephon. And when Pharaoh drew nigh or drew near, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes. Now they looking. We thinking we free. Here come Pharaoh and his 600 chariots. So we looked, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. So they coming after us. And they were so afraid. Now, mind you, knowing that the firstborn son of all the Egyptians, firstborn male of all, men and beasts, died. Now looking up, we are looking up our eyes and seeing them coming after us. And they were so afraid. And the children of Israel cried unto the Most High. Hear that? We cried unto the Most High. And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, murmuring, complaining, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? Hear that? Same thing over again. It's going to be like a lot of people that's going to feel the same way coming out of this captivity. Let us alone. We had it going on in America. We had it going on in England. or whatever country we scattered in, that they coming out of. Why you gonna purge out the rebels? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. Wow. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Most High, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Most High shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Ye shall shut up. Say the Most High gonna fight for you, and you shall shut up. He's gonna come through. Like he's gonna come through in these times that we're in now. Without a shadow of a doubt. And the Most High said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me, speaking to the children of Israel, that they go forward? I said, why you crying unto me? Tell us, we the children of Israel, it's us. Tell them to go forward. But lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thine hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I, behold, that's the Most High, will harden the hearts of the Egyptians. I'm going to harden the minds of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them. He going to make them follow them. Seeing us going across dry ground, seeing the Red Sea open. They ain't never seen nothing like that. But they see the ground is dry, and we going across it without sinking in, they think it'd be like quicksand, mud, but no, it's dry. So he said, you're going to harden their hearts. This is the Most High. This is the power that we serve. He made their minds to do just what he wanted them to do. He said, I will harden their hearts of all the Egyptians, and they shall follow them, and I will get me honor. You hear that? And I will get me honor, not Moses or Aaron or we the children of Israel. He said, I'm going to get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, all his army, upon his chariots and upon his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Most High, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. Understand this, understand this. That's how it's going to be for the salvation of the Israelites in this world, in all the places we scattered. And the angel of the Most High, which went before the camp of Israel, who would be Hamashiach Yahushua as an angel, that you can read about in 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of the Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. See? And the Egyptians pursued after us, going over this dry land in the Red Sea, and the Most High killed them all. As Pharaoh's army went into the sea, verse 28, and the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the hosts of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them, there remained not so much as one of them, right? So now, let me give you a case scenario. He said, there remained not so much as one of them, right? Let me show you what it says here. If we can go to Second Ezra. I got to keep some kind of way the Most High have me bring this from ancient to the now. Now, all these nations going to get together to fight Hamashiach Yahushua as he come to bring forth the salvation to we, the children of Israel. And the remnant that he's going to gather of all the nations that's going to be in the kingdom serving us. So now, let's see what he says as far as dealing with the army, the navy, the marines, the air forces of all the nations that's getting together to fight him. What's going to happen to them? You see what happened to Pharaoh in his chariots, right? In his army, right? So listen, what are you going to do with these armies? 2 Ezra 13 to 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came. That's the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Forces of all these nations that's getting together. They're going to be together to fight him. Stop warring amongst themselves. They're going to fight amongst Mashiach Yahushua. This is what it says. 2 13 and 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. This future prophecy for us. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth that it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. What do you do with this flaming breath and tongue that he cast out sparks and tempests? What did he do with it? And they were all mixed together. The blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. What did he do? And burned them up. Every one. He leaving none. He said, and burned them up, every one, that so that upon a sudden of innumerable multitude that couldn't be counted, of the armies, the navies, the marines, the air forces of all these nations on this earth today, gonna be scared, but yet they're gonna fight, as it is written. So that upon a sudden of a renewable multitude, nothing was to be perceived but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Better understand and understand. That's why it tells us, man, it's all here. All praise unto the Most High, by Shama Mashiach Yahushua, because his word is true. Go to Revelation 19, verse 14. And the armies which were in heaven, the angels that were in heaven, followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen and white and clean. They got clothes on, y'all. Not no butt naked angels. They got clothes on. The angels got white linen, white and clean. Listen, out of his mouth. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that we just read about what's coming out of his mouth. That what you going to do with the sharp sword? That with it he should smite the nations. He should kill the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, which is the laws of the Most High. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of almighty power. Oh yeah. So now, this is what we're looking at. Just as it was then, as it's going to be now. We say that the Most High could be all in all. He can get him a name. And that's what's going to happen in this time. That's why we got to do exactly what it is that we've done before. It's already written here. Let's go to the end. 1 Corinthians 15-24. Then cometh the end of this world. Remember it tells you in 2 Ezra 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. We got next forever and ever and ever. So now it says, then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. You just read about it. If you didn't read about it, you heard about it, because I just read it. All the army, the navy, the marines of all nations gonna be burnt up. Ain't gonna be nothing but dust and smell of smoke. Understand it? Are you in the service? Hey, you gotta fight. You gonna be ready to fight a Mashiach Yahushua? That's the end result. You make the call. You say you're gonna be scared, but you're still gonna fight because you in the orders. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. All rulership, that's salvation that they're in right now. These other nations, this is their salvation. Powers and authority is salvation. For he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. That's what he told us in Psalms 110 and 1. Through the prophet of David, King David. You know, the Most High said unto my power, Mashiach Yahushua, sit thee on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. Here it is. For he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. That's all nations being subject to Mashiach Yahushua, who's rolling in the power of the Most High. The last enemy that shall be destroyed, y'all, is death. The last enemy that's going to be destroyed is death. For he have put all things under his feet. But when he said all things are put under him, when he put all these nations under Mashiach Yahushua, it is manifest that he is accepted. He is accepted, which did put all things under him. That's the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He gonna be accepted. When he put all these nations, bring down all their power, rules, and authority, as it says in verse 24, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. That's what we just read about. The future. For he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. You see? They're the enemies. You see it right here. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. That's what we chose in the beginning. He said you can live forever. But don't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, else you're going to die. That's death. But we chose death instead of life. So that's why he said the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. Because we won't eat of the tree of life and live forever and ever and ever. We have the opportunity. For he have put all things under his feet. But when he said all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is accepted, which did put all things under him. When the Most High put all things under Mashiach Yahushua's feet, then he knows that he's going to be accepted. Because he the one that put everything under Mashiach Yahushua's feet. And when all things shall be subdued under him, then shall the Son also, Mashiach Yahushua also himself, be subject unto him that put all things under him. Mashiach Yahushua going to be subject to the Most High who put all things under Mashiach Yahushua's feet. And the Most High the Most High may be all in all. That's what this is about, y'all. If you don't remember anything else, remember that. Because this is all about the Most High being all in all. Not us, but him. Remember he told Moses, I'll kill all the Israelites. And I'll make a people out of you, Moses. Then he came back with John the Baptist and said, hey, he could raise up some stones to be his people. Better hear the word of the Most High. Don't get so prideful that you think you already made it. You ain't made it till you going to the kingdom. You done purged out all the rebels, and you going to the kingdom. And you under the Mashiach Yahushua learning. You better wait till you get under the Mashiach Yahushua to be learning of the Most High. Look. Go to Exodus. Because we're looking at a solution of what touches the Most High. To make him have pity on us as a people. That we can see our salvation come. And don't wait till it's a time that you have no choice but to cry unto him. And he fulfilled what he said in Proverbs 1:24 down. He mock and laugh at you. And what we read in 2nd Ezra, the 1st chapter. He don't pay no attention to you at all. But you can't do it, like I started off. If you prideful, you can't just not talking to you. And you'll know who it is by the way they respond to what it is that we did that worked all the time. The Spirit brought me this in the 90s. And it's real important that we see this. Or else, like I say, if you prideful, you ain't gonna be able to deal with this because you think you all that. But I read to you in Revelation 1:7. They're going to be the hardest criers. The one think they all that. He said, all the kindred's going well because of him. He coming back. When you see him destroy every last army, navy, marines, and air forces of all the kingdoms of the world, and you going to still be big, bad, and bold, we going to find out. We're going to find out then. Look. Go to Exodus 15. Let's look at Miriam. Go to verse 20. Uh, and Miriam, this is Moses' older sister, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. So the women has got timbrels like tambourines and dancing. And Miriam answered them, sing ye to the Most High, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. Killed Pharaoh and his 600 chariots and his powerful men. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. So they 3 days in the wilderness, they ain't find no water. They thirsty, right? And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of it was called Marah, right? Because the water was bitter. They couldn't drink it. And we read about this already in 2 Timothy, the first chapter, but you see it here now again. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? Now, mind you, I got to keep reminding you, the Most High did all those plagues on the Egyptians. We done seen them open the Red Sea. We looked to see Pharaoh and the 600 army men and their chariots coming after us. And the Most High made the ground dry that we can walk through the Red Sea on dry ground. Verse 24 again of Exodus 15 chapter. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? They thirsty. What we gonna drink? Got us out of this wilderness. You already know what they said. We'd rather have served the Egyptian in captivity, slavery, and bondage, come out in this wilderness. And he cried unto the Most High, because people was like, you know how we are. So he probably figured they're gonna try and kill me. You know how we are. And he cried unto the Most High, and the Most High showed him a tree. He cried unto the Most High, and he got a result. The Most High showed him a tree. A lot of times, you got to get off your pride, and don't wait till the Most High jack you to the point where you can't do nothing but cry to him. You only can depend on him, because that's our only hope. We as Israelites gonna have is him. Cursed be the man that trusts in man and make flesh his arm. Come on. He all we have. And he cried unto the Most High, and the Most